Before we begin, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos. Woman recognizes the man who saved her as a baby from forest. Now watch their emotional reunion that's left all the eyes watering. Deciding to have a child is one of the most important life decisions that you'll make. After all, bringing another life into this world is a huge responsibility. However, not all children were planned beforehand, and many people become parents unexpectedly. Not everyone is preparing for the cost of taking care of a baby, so some pretty terrible situations happen as a result. When one man discovered a baby in the strangest way, he managed to do something that would impact the baby's life forever. On September 2nd, 1955, something would happen that would change Dave Hickman's life forever. Although the man now lives in Tennessee, back in 1955 he was somewhere else entirely. Hickman happened to be in the middle of southern Indiana. At the time, Hickman was a young man and he was out on a hunting trip with his grandfather. The pair were making their way through the woods when Hickman noticed something strange. There was an odd noise coming from a part of the woods. Hickman heard the odd noise echoing through the woods and he immediately wanted to investigate what it was. "I kept hearing a very odd sound. It wasn't the sound of a baby crying. It was more of a soft cooing sound," Hickman explained. So he hopped over a fence where he figured out where the sound was coming from. As Hickman made his way through the grassy area, he came across a shocking discovery. There, in the middle of the grass, was a little baby. The worst part was that the baby looked like it was in really bad condition. By the looks of it, it was obvious that the baby had been purposely abandoned in the grassy area. Hickman couldn't believe his eyes. "She was soaking wet and her lips were blue," Hickman said. "She was wrapped in a towel." Hickman immediately ran to get his grandfather to show him what he discovered. Both of the men knew that they had to get the baby help quickly. So they alerted the authorities to the situation so that the baby could be brought somewhere safe. The authorities quickly arrived to the scene as soon as they were called. They then brought the little baby girl to a local hospital so that doctors could look her over. It was at the hospital that she was given the name Roseanne Wayne. Due to the unique nature of the relationship, the hospital even allowed Hickman to have a special goodbye with her. Even though this rescue story happened 58 years ago, Hickman still remembers it just as clearly to this day. In fact, the face of the baby has stayed with him after all these years. As the years passed by, Hickman wanted to track down the little girl that he found in the grass. He soon began to attempt to track her down for a while. However, every time he thought he was close to finding her, his search came up short. Finally, Hickman decided to give it one last shot to find the little girl. He decided to get in contact with John Cady, the retired sheriff of Wayne County in Indiana. Hickman hoped that with Cady on his search team that they'd finally be able to track her down. It was truly a lucky thing that Hickman got in touch with Cady because soon enough the retired sheriff had gotten some leads on the case. It was only 2 weeks when Cady brought Hickman a telephone number and a name. Hickman was given the name Mary Ellen Suey. When he called her and spoke to her, he soon found out her background story. It turns out that Mary Ellen was the baby that Hickman had found all those years ago. It seems that Mary Ellen was adopted by a wonderfully loving couple all those years ago. The family had actually told her the story of her discovery, and all throughout the years, Mary Ellen wondered about the amazing teenage boy that saved her life. Now the two of them were finally speaking. Hickman was overcome with emotion when he discovered that Mary Ellen was the baby that he'd discovered all those years ago. "I said, 'My name is Dave Hickman,'" he said, "and then I lost it." It was an incredibly emotional moment for them both. Finally, after 58 years, the two of them were reunited. Even though the two of them had never had an actual relationship, the two of them still happened to share a special bond. They immediately bonded with each other. "It's kind of like Dave's a big brother I never knew I had," Suey said. To this day, Hickman still can't get over the image of the helpless baby laying there in the grass. However, he's now so grateful to learn that the baby has grown into a woman that's had a great life. "I see that image of her laying in the weeds and me standing on top of the fence every day of my life," he said. "At least now I know there's a happy ending." Throughout everything, Suey stated that she doesn't hold any resentment towards her biological parents. Suey's incredibly happy that she got a chance to reunite with the man that saved her life. She could finally thank him in person for giving her an opportunity to live out a wonderful life. Hickman was also grateful to be able to see how Suey's life turned out. It's truly extraordinary that Suey and Hickman were able to reunite after over 50 years. Not only that, but it's also pretty amazing that the two of them shared such a close bond from their initial meeting. Thanks to Hickman's keen hearing, he was able to track down a baby that was in desperate need of help. He managed to save the life of this little girl, and she was then able to live out a wonderful life. This is truly a happy ending.